All right, y'all, it's your boy Muggs Amillion in the building, and you already know we tuned in to another fresh episode of Indie Music Major Business, brought to you by Money United with Game. We right here live in Nashville, Tennessee, aka the Music City, capital of the world, man. That's right, man. I am Billboard songwriter, award-winning recording artist, motivational speaker, music consultant, panelist, a little bit of some of all of that. Like I said, man, go back, check out some of the earlier episodes, particularly episode 1 for a nice introduction of Muggs Amillion. I know y'all been rocking out with the kid. We've been dropping them things. I appreciate y'all continuing to stay tuned in. Thank y'all for the comments, the feedback, the DMs with your questions, man. Those have been checking out the book. I feel like y'all really soaking in the information that I've been trying to give y'all, man. And so again, man, I thank y'all. Appreciate y'all for following me on the journey. Continue to support the platform, Indie Music Major Business. You know what I'm saying? So again, man, I want to jump into the book one more time, man. Again, that's the whole purpose of this. Indie Music Major Business, a guide to your first royalty check. That's what made me even get into making this a podcast type show. Just something for y'all to kind of start checking in with me on a deeper level outside of the book, outside of my music. I really wanted to just pour into the indie music scene out here, man. Again, the goal behind Indie Music Major Business is to motivate, educate, and elevate music professionals all across the world, man. So my journey, like I said, it took me to a lot of different places. I've been, like I mentioned earlier, man, motivational speaking, hosted panels and things of that nature. So prior to becoming an author and writing the book, Indie Music Major Business, I actually got into hosting classes and like created a curriculum, right? So what got me into doing the whole educational side of the music business back when I had finished, really not finished, but took a pause from being an artist, took a nice break from being a recording artist, man. We was fresh off of a national tour that I did. We did a Club Nights promo tour. We did an HBCU college tour in the midst of, like I said, opening up for some major artists back then as well. And so fresh off of that break from being an artist, I wanted to do something different. And at the time, I had created what was called the Music Industry Crash Course. And so I would actually, this is when I was living in Atlanta, and so I would actually host and have like free curriculum classes. I would do my Music Industry Crash Course class for free, right? Same way how this is free right now on YouTube. You can, subscribe to the channel, share it with an indie music professional that you feel like needs to be motivated, educated, and elevated, because that's the goal. But I was doing my Music Industry Crash Course for free at the time down in Atlanta, man. Shout out to 12 Music Studios down there, and the ATL was letting me host free sessions for all of their interns and stuff like that. And then from there, it kind of grew. One of my mentors actually, man, shout out to Tom Kidd, man, TK down in the Atlanta area, man. I met him by way of the Recording Academy Atlanta chapter when I was a Grammy member down there in Atlanta. TK actually hit me up one day and he was like, I like what you're doing with your class. That's great that you want to pour that into people. He said, but people don't appreciate free. So it's like, even if you don't charge a whole lot of money, like charge something. And so, I took heed to that, man. That was some great advice that he gave me. Because again, it can kind of devalue your brand or devalue your product by giving it away for free. So you have to try to find smart ways and creative ways of kind of sort of giving something away, but not necessarily just making it free, if that makes sense though. But anyhow, man, so after creating the Music Industry Crash Course, actually, I take that back because now I'm thinking about the timeline of everything. I actually hosted my first panel at A3C even before creating the full curriculum. My first panel that I hosted, I think it was in 2014, we hosted a panel at A3C conference down there in Atlanta. It was titled Making Money Behind the Scenes. right? And again, this was kind of fresh off of me getting the placement with the being a songwriter and stuff like that. And so I started opening my eyes up, and again, at my internship, being up under my mentor at the time and still my mentor and OG, Dr. N.F. Burke, and as a music talent consultant and talent manager. And so that was really like my first time being able to be hands-on around somebody from like the behind the scenes of the music industry. And not to throw his numbers or nothing out there and stuff like that, man, but like, he was charging some cool money per hour just for people to come into his office and talk to him, for him to give them guidance and, to lead them and direct them on what their next moves and steps should be with their music career. And that really intrigued, it was something that was really intriguing to me, man, and it really like sparked my interest in it as well. Because again, I always felt like, even though I was good, even great sometimes, as an artist, I always felt I was better at helping develop people, right? And helping to pour into other people. And so me seeing that side of the music industry, it really, like I said, started opening my eyes up to it, man. Even meeting, and getting a chance to be up under and running around with one of the owners of the studio, man, Stone Stafford. Stone and his wife Tasha, man, they all came from the behind the scenes side of the music industry, from the consulting side of it, the songwriting and music publishing side of it all, right? And like the A&R and development side of it. And the studio's like full of plex, full of plex from all of your big artists that you could name, man, Akon, Destiny's Child, Whitney Houston, like different soundtracks and stuff from movies. And it was just like, wow, these people got all of these accolades and acknowledgement and, and success from the music industry, all from behind the scenes though. Like they not even people that you know. So today I want to kind of just speak on that, man, from an indie music major business standpoint, right? If you in the music industry or want to get involved in the music industry and you not necessarily want to be the artist or on the front line as the superstar, that's okay, man. It's so many other roles and so many other key players and major players, rather. Like this, when I say indie music major business, these are the major business people in the music industry. Is the behind the scenes people. Again, man, Dr. N.F. Burke, man, my guy, my mentor, man. This is the person that helped create and put TLC together. Was one of the early managers for Goody Mob and Outkast and them, man, organized crime, like helped the Dungeon family, like brought all of that stuff together in the early stages of their career. Was behind the scenes. Me even saying his name right now, Ian Burke, you probably never even heard of him. But again, he done touched so many of your biggest stars that you wouldn't even believe it, man. And so it's many of those kind of people in the industry that I've met on my journey and my walk through it. And so I want to inspire y'all today, man. Today's motivation, education, and elevation is going out to the indie music professional out there not wanting to be the artist. It's okay to be somebody behind the scenes that's managing the talent or even going over the tracks and sending the artist the right music, helping them develop their sound, helping them develop their image. All of that stuff plays a major part in the success of an artist in their career, right? In my time coming up, buying music and stuff like that, if you're a younger person that's tuned in and checking it out, y'all don't really get the luxury or the benefit of being able to see the credits on the inside of an album cover no more, right? They don't really print out full copies and stuff like that, the hard copies where it's got the booklet and stuff inside of it. So y'all don't get to see the credits, right? But I always remember when we would buy CDs and you open up the inside of that CD and there's so many other names in there outside of that one person that's on the front of the cover, right? And not realizing that majority of those people are already been paid for what they contributed to that album. The artist, rather, on the other hand, is on the front of the cover. A lot of people are focused on the name that's on the front of the cover, not realizing that person on the front of the cover, they're the last to get paid, if they get paid at all sometimes. But those names on the inside of it, the creative directors, the A&Rs, the vocal arrangers, you know, songwriters, the music publishers, like those people there, even the graphic design person. You know, shout out to my wife, Flyer Chick, man. The logo you see right there, Money United with Game. My book cover you see right there, Indie Music Major Business, all done by her, man. The graphic designer is a key part of all of your image and your branding. You know what I'm saying? In a previous episode, I talked about your brand. You know, get you a high-end photographer, get you a high-end graphic designer that can make your stuff look professional, right? So again, I'm talking to that indie music professional right now. If you got a passion for photography, but you still love and want to be a part of the music industry, hey, pick up that camera, start taking pictures of an artist and developing their image. You know, image branding is a major part of this thing, man. Shout out to my publicist, Rami over at Also Imaging, man. You know, like all of those different moving parts, right? Being a publicist. How you think these artists get in magazines and get these headlines written up about them, man? That's a PR that's PR. That's public relations. Their publicist is the reason why you saw that magazine article write up on them, though. I remember Dame Dash, I remember seeing in an interview one time, Dame Dash talked about this, right? That's how Jay-Z and Kanye West got so big, and a lot of the artists over on Def Jam. He would pay for, I remember him saying he would pay for them to have about 2 or 3 different publicists at one time when it was time for them to gear up and release a new project, man. You know, so these are the things, if you are the artist, right, and you're putting your team together, these are the type of people and the things that you want to put in place to really make sure that you're building your brand properly, right? And the indie music major business side of things, again, if you are uncle or an auntie or a cousin or a brother or sister, and your little brother is trying to pursue music, or your little sister want to get into the music industry as a performer, a singer, a rapper, become one of those other major roles that help to establish them and make them come off looking professional, right? Whether it be hair and makeup. Again, videographer. We're in a world right now where content is king, right? So pick up that camera. If you good with social media and tech savvy or whatnot, man, get behind your peoples and become that social media manager. You know, those are real deal positions that are needed and wanted in today's music industry. Again, when you're talking indie music, major business, those are some of the major business type roles that people sleep on. Everything from, like I said, if you're going to be running with an artist, right, or artist. Now, rather, let me talk to the artist again. If you're an actual artist and you're going to have 5, 10 people coming to the studio with you when you're going to go do a studio session, all of those people need to be contributing in some kind of way, right? It's no way that you should be the artist with 5 other people around you and you got to be in the studio holding your phone up in your face and trying to show off and go live for yourself. One of them should be running your phone, filming you, documenting you in your studio session while you in your zone, doing what you doing as the artist, right? Start keeping people around you that's bringing some value to your situation. Don't just have a bunch of people running behind you to make it look good, man. When you see these majors and they hopping off their tour bus or they backstage and you see all those different people, man, they got 2, 3 camera people filming them every step of the way. They got a cameraman that's filming the cameraman. Somebody taking the still shot pictures while somebody doing the videography. Somebody running the live on the Instagram page. You know, put your well-versed, well-rounded team together, man. You got somebody, like I said, that's connected with the venues in your town or connected with different clubs in other towns or DJs or whatnot. Let them handle your street team promotions or something like that, though, your booking manager or booking agent or whatnot, though, man. You know, so start understanding the importance of building your team. And if you love the music industry, want to be a part of the music industry, but you don't want to be the rapper, you don't know how to make beats, find one of these other positions in the music industry that suit you and suit your strengths, right? And you can find a way for you to contribute and be a part of an artist's career and help them get to that next level. It's major money to be made behind the scenes in the music industry, man. You know, and there's different ways you can get involved in doing that, though. Like I said, if you want to be a manager, you know, you good with time management, You know, you good. You got real good connections and resources. You're a good talker. You can pretty much convince anybody into anything. Hey, you may be well equipped and fit to be somebody's personal manager out here. Are you business savvy? You going to school to be an accountant or whatnot though? But again, you got a love for music. You may want to be somebody's business manager. You know, help them find different ways to take that first royalty check. You know what I'm saying? Indie Music Major Business, the book, Guide to Your First Royalty Check. Help them find ways to take that first royalty check and invest it into other things though. You know, so those different people, those different things right there is what I want y'all to start really thinking about. If you're an indie music professional, that's some major business right there to really consider if you want to be successful in this music industry. All right, so again, it's your boy Muggs Amillion. I'm in the building, man. I ain't gonna take up too much of y'all time today because I'm not on my grind today and gotta go and make a move or two. But again, man, the link is in the description. MoneyUnitedWithGame.com. Find your boy Muggs Amillion on Instagram at MUGS_A million. Got links in my bio. Follow the movement. Keep sending in your comments. Keep sending in the DMs, man, with your questions, with your topic suggestions, all of that, man. I appreciate y'all. Much love for y'all tuning in. Go out there and win, man, and get it in. You feel me, though? Indie music, major business. Let's go. Yeah.